Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Uncensored Anime Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things anime uncensored. And we are your hosts. I'm David. We got Jerry. We got Kenny. We have a very fun, exciting episode for you all today. We are going to be talking about Kenny's favorite show, the show that he would not stop talking about, Scissor Seven. That's right, all 3 seasons on Netflix of Scissor Seven. We're going to be talking about some Ranking of Kings episodes, and we're also going to be talking about some One Piece theories. So, Jerry, start off the episode. Go. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Okay,
hey, Jerry, start the episode now.
Listen. Okay, so if you watch last week's episode,
you're looking real good, Jerry. You're looking really good, by the way.
Thanks, man. If you watched last week's episode, Kenny kept saying, "You guys gotta watch Scissor Seven. You guys gotta watch this. It's super easy. You guys watch." So we did it. We went and watched all 34 episodes of Scissor Seven. There are 34 episodes of this show on Netflix. It is a Donghua, I believe it's how it's pronounced, which essentially is the Chinese word for animation. It's often used to refer to Chinese-style anime. And it is available on Netflix in the U.S. in multiple different languages. And it's, Kenny, since you were so passionate about Scissor Seven, please tell our audience, what the hell is the premise of Scissor Seven? What did we watch the last 34 episodes?
The premise of the show is basically Yuki Cross is at an academy called the Cross Academy. She has been adopted by the principal. And you see there's a day and a night class. Okay, you got to understand there's a day and a night class, and the night class are vampires. But Yuki and her good friend Zero Kiryu are a part of the special.
We've been waiting a whole week to talk about this. Man starts talking about Vampire Night.
We watched all 34 episodes for you, and you're going to just.
And he hits us with a Vampire Night. Oh my god!
We love Vampire Night here. It's a great show.
We just love it. Yeah, actually, that's what we're reviewing tonight: Vampire Night and Vampire Night accessories. Yep. That's all we're talking about on this show. Kenny, tell him what Scissor Seven's about.
Scissor Seven is about a guy named Seven who has amnesia and is currently a hairstylist on a sort of like country island. Yeah. And then it turns out that assassins start coming to attack him, basically.
Pretty much.
And he doesn't know why. And he's got to learn about his past. Also, he has like psychic powers.
Yeah.
He uses chi to put scissors through the air.
Yeah. Scissors and chi and shit.
Yeah, you know. And then one guy holds on to you for 7 days. He can't let go. There's a dog who plays rock and roll guitar.
Mad Bark, yeah. That's
Bark.
The guy. That's the
Mad
guy.
Bark
Yeah, Mad
cool.
Bark.
Yeah.
We can't forget about Mad Bark.
Bark loved him.
There's also the lady that leads the Purity organization and the girl who has cancer that freezes you. There's the organization, or not even organization. It's like a race of people that are like scientists that fight the race of people that are like martial artists. The Stains. Thank you. And
they worship Einstein.
He's got fucking Einstein on his goddamn shirt the whole time. What else? I mean, there's talking cats and dogs. There's a fucking chicken.
You can't forget Bud Guy.
Chicken, but I mean, literally, like. Yeah, I mean, there's a golden virgin. Like, there's just a lot of... That's pretty much what Scissor Seven is in a nutshell. But what I want to do is I want to take some time. Let's deep dive the seasons. Let's deep dive the way the show's kind of evolved. So we're going to get into some spoiler territory here, obviously. If you want to check out Scissor Seven, go on Netflix right now. Load it up. The English dub is great. I would encourage you to try it if you're not really a dub person. But if you aren't, like, if you really don't want to do the dub, go with the Mandarin Chinese. That's the original version. Go with that version. But yes, it's all on Netflix. You can watch. It's only 34 episodes, and they're all under 20 minutes long. So like the longest episodes are 20 minutes. The shortest episodes are closer to like 12 minutes, 11 or 12 minutes. So it does kind of vary throughout the seasons. I think season 3 has a lot more like 16 to 17 minute episodes, as opposed to like season 1, which had more like a lot of 12-minute episodes. So you can kind of binge the show pretty quick. It's still a couple hours, but if you wanted to binge it all in one go, you technically probably could. But go watch it and then come back and then listen to our review. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then, and honestly with a show like this, I don't know if you need to care about spoilers that much because it's pretty irreverent, but if you don't care about it, you can obviously listen now because let's deep dive it. So let's talk about season 1, guys. I want to start, let's just take it season by season because I think that's the easiest way to
season
track.
1.
Right.
Okay. Season 1 I felt like had the most gaffes. Like it was the gaggiest one.
It's the gag season.
I don't even think that that's really necessarily bad for the rest of the show, but I do think each season has just gotten better.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing something that we've seen kind of play out across other shown. Well, I'm going to compare it to a shonen. Obviously, this is something that was made in China. It's an original animation. It doesn't have any source material, so they kind of were able to do what they wanted to do as they went along with this. But it's doing something that we've seen happen in shonen manga before, where the series kind of starts out with a very jokey, comedic tune, like kind of style. The whole first season is built around comedy, to be honest. Like pretty much every episode is sort of a standalone assassin adventure where Seven is fighting, whether it be Mad Bark, or whether it be the leader of the people who are trying to stop that man from stealing panties, or whether it be the girl who wants to do her bucket list. You know, he's being assigned these assassination missions and essentially is going through and having these comedic or circumstances that lead elsewhere, which I think there's some really great,
really episodic.
There's some really funny fucking shit in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I was there were some one-liners in season 1 that killed me, dude, that were just very comedic, but I don't know why, but Mad Bark's episode stands out a lot. His first episode.
Oh yeah.
The first Mad Bark one's funny.
I love the Mad Bark.
I also found the episode.
He started singing that song at the end.
Oh yeah. And all the music, so they keep the music in Chinese, by the way. So every time, if you're watching the English dub, the moment it switches to music or songs, it just goes right to Chinese, even if they're singing like in character. Which I found that I actually thought that added a layer of funny to me. Because I was just like, what the hell? I was like, why is it still in, or why is it in Chinese? They didn't dub the songs. But another like solid season 1 episode is, I thought at least, the lady that, she's kind of like a con artist, and he gets sent to assassinate her
Granny.
Granny by her son, and
Granny Chi?
She kind of just kicks his ass, to be honest, which I thought was hilarious. Some really great moments, but obviously we get season 1 establishes a couple things. We get Daibo, we get 7, we get 13, which is kind of your 3 very primary cast. Yeah. And we start to get some of their motivations, some of what's going on with them. There's obviously hints towards the amnesia. Season 1 is where you first meet the Captain Jack or whatever, who is underground. Captain Jack. And he has that kind of, I've met this guy before moment. You kind of start to get these inklings that there's some sort of plot, which it's really, I'm going to use the word plot loosely here, because even when it starts to develop a like shonen plot, it's still pretty ridiculous.
It's gaggy.
I don't know.
Scissor Seven was funny, and that's what I like about it.
Oh yeah, season 1's funny though. Season 1's funny. I mean, it was funny.
Season 1 is
There's no way around it.
It's just all really like introducing characters, like kind of like setting up. Like, I mean, plot is plot, but it's like really just introducing all these characters.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we kind of see, is the last episode where they kind of like all come back and it's kind of like a little
season 1 pulls like a season 1 end game, and it's like a character from like every episode all of a sudden like comes to fight the Stain who shows up to the island to get them or whatever. I was like, okay, what the fuck? I was like,
which like with like speaking of the fights, like the animation during all the combat scenes, like I'm stealing this from you, Jerry. Like it definitely, like watching it gave me Mob Psycho feels.
Yeah,
of, like how the animation was going.
Yeah, I mean, there's no lie about it that it's stylized in a way that compares to Mob Psycho. It takes the cartoony aspects, and because of that, it creates a little bit more of a fluid. You can have a lot more fluid action because they don't have to worry about details or about making things look really realistic. And that actually is pretty appealing to the eye. So if you're a fan of animation, I think Scissor Seven is quite the marvel of animation. It's a lot of fun to look at. The colors, the pictures, the images, the art. It's very stylized, highly stylized, and a lot of fun to look at. And I think that aids Scissor Seven to some degree, especially in the gag parts. But then once it gets into like the shit, later parts, it also kind of is a cool aesthetic to have. But I don't know. But season 1 was pretty standard. I will admit the one thing about season 1 and even a little bit of season 2 is that eventually the gag starts to kind of wear on me, like just a little bit, and that like there's a formula to the comedy in the show, and that essentially the scenario is set up. We're introduced to a character, some sort of ridiculous assassin or assassin type character, and then Seven has to either overcome or figure out how to work through the circumstance involving that character. So each episode kind of plays out in that same formula with different characters being inserted in each episode. And it's not until season 3 that there becomes like any sort of overarching storytelling or any sort of like multi-episode plots.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty standalone.
Now, getting into season 2.
Okay.
Season 2 introduces a character, and
Wait.
his name is...
Before we go to season, can we talk about the 4-episode OVA that happens between season 1 and 2?
Daibo one?
Those were my favorite episodes of the season.
Honestly,
Really?
I love the backstory.
It's because I agree because there's like the 10 episodes that are very standalone. We're still getting some chunk, and then all of a sudden it's like one episode just about 13's backstory, and it's like 3 episodes about Daibo's backstory, and then we jump right into season 2, and it's like, oh shit, okay, here we go now you're more invested in Daibo and in 13, and then obviously we start to get more of Seven's amnesia that comes about in season 2. The fucking chicken fight. I
love that. That's my favorite season 1 episode.
Guys, what was the
the dub voice for the chicken did not match.
or something? Dafe or something was the other the other chicken, and then he fights the fucking the big ass chicken. The part where
King Pheasant,
the part where King Pheasant is just beating the shit out of the Dafe, and he's like, "We're chickens. This is what we do. We fight." I was like, "What the fuck?"
And then they eat us.
I was like, "That's the deepest, scariest shit." I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Dial it down a bit. This is a comedy."
It was like hella gory too. Just blood.
Oh
just flashing everywhere.
Dafe is actually voiced
so
in the English dub. He's voiced by Alex Lee, the guy that plays Zenitsu in Demon Slayer. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I like Chicken Fight because I just think that was the coolest 3-parter. It reminded me. Do you guys remember the Billy and Mandy episode Chicken Ball Z? Where they eat the chicken ball. It's like a Dragon Ball Z parody. It had a lot of that same energy to me. Just tournaments, fighting chickens. I don't know. This is real. Scissor 7 takes Chicken Ball Z to the next fucking level. God damn it! Fucking elevates Chicken Ball Z.
When Daibo achieved that form, I was like, I'm liking this.
You're like, okay, Super Daibo.
I'm like, all right, Avenger brother is his brother, right?
Okay, so clarify for me, guys. I think I must have missed it. When did the little chicken learn how to grow into a massive? When was the transition for the little chicken to become like a buff man? It just happened, right? Like I was trying to remember.
It just came out of nowhere.
I was like, when the fuck did he? When did the little chicken learn how to do that? Okay, so season 2, Kenny, what were you saying about a character that gets introduced?
Season 2 introduces a character, and his name is Meow Kai. Okay.
Okay.
And what he does, what Meow Kai does, is
we know
that he sings like melancholy songs about the past.
What did Mad Bark say? He was like, he can't really sing very well, but I just feel so sad, or something like that. That was like a quote from Mad Bark.
And every time he does a song, I swear to God, it's a full-length song.
Oh yeah.
Through an entire melancholic montage, and it's so fucking funny.
The one that he did in season 3.
Yep.
And there was the whole storyline that was playing out between the ugly guy and his first love or whatever. Oh my God, Kenny, I lost. Okay, that one made me laugh. That was that was one of my favorite gags in season 3. Honestly, I was like, okay,
it was just so funny.
That shit was good.
Yeah, and I mean, whenever he fought Mad Bark too, though, it's like,
come on.
It was 2 of the
Mad
best
Bark, come on.
2 of the best characters going at it, Mad Bark, Meow Kai,
Yeah. So season 2, I don't know. Season 2 is when I was actually starting to get a little I was like, oh man, guys. I was like, I don't know. Season 1 was okay. I was like, okay, it's funny. I like it. It's cool animation. And season 2, I was actually kind of getting a little bit bored of it because it just wasn't transitioning to like the full anime stuff yet. You know, it was very much like the middle ground. There was like some big fights. There was some little hints of amnesia. Captain Jack comes back, and you find out that the cancer girl is what was it? She's like an experiment, and like the stain. I think the stain experiment or something.
Yeah, I didn't really care until season 2. It was like very uninteresting for me until
it was like the connector.
When Red Tooth was brought up, like the Shadow Killers.
Right.
That was when I was like, okay, this is.
Then at the back half of the season, they kind of did one little overarching story for like 2 or 3 episodes, and it was the whole Red Tooth storyline. And Red Tooth was like a mentee of fucking the panty lady. That's when I was like, what? I was like,
Chairman.
Yeah, Chairman Jang, and she turned young. Do you guys remember that shit? I was like,
and everyone was like,
I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, oh no. And then they introduced that, because the OVA episode, 13 got her name because she's one of like 13 daughters. So there's like all these other daughters, but we only meet 11, which I thought that was interesting that 7, 13, 11, those are like the number names. Because those are like very interesting numbers. I was like, where's 8 and 9 and 10? Where's the rest of these kids?
Where's 6 and 9?
Yeah, we need fucking 6 and 9. But yeah, season 2, the Red Tooth part was when it got cool. There were some really awesome fights at the back half too, but that's just it. I mean, like, Scissor 7 is one of those shows it's just kind of like bonkers. It's off the wall. It's very like Mad Hat. It reminds me of like something that would play on Adult Swim, like in the middle of the night. Like you would like wake up in a hot sweat and like your TV's on and it's like, you know what I mean? And like Mad Bark is like singing you off, like that's like, it just reminds me. It reminds me of that.
It's like Shin Chan almost.
That Perfect Hair Forever. That sort of era of Adult Swim late night comedy with like an anime twist sort of thing.
I wish it kind of kept its level of gag in season 1 in seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's clear that
I think that's what kind of like the charm about it, for me at least, was all about.
And season 3 had some. I mean, season 3 had a couple. I mean, like the episode season 3 where they go to the island of. I can't Fa Dow or the other virgin gold boy, the bodyguard that you meet in season 1, who's with you in season 2. He goes to the island. There's a bunch of gold muscle boys, and they're all fighting. And he teaches them a lesson not to bully. And then they're like, we forgive him. They don't want to bully. They accept him back to the virgin island.
Ranks or whatever,
it's like there was some spattering. But it felt weird because it just felt inserted. It was like the front half of season 3 like introduced the overarching plot, and then we got like 5 episodes of like, they go to one island. They went to that island where like the kids that were experiments. They went to the island with the buff guys. They went to the island with the guy who's got like thumb martial arts. They found out the guy who kept shorting him that he was giving haircuts to ended up being like a super powerful like haircut. So there was still some of that in the island with the ugly people that all turn ugly. If they would just kiss other ugly people, it would break. It would have broken They could have broken the spell the whole time, but nobody kisses ugly people.
Nobody would kiss. Yeah,
nobody would kiss ugly people, dude.
That's why he had that melancholy song about him.
Then he had to do the. So there's
that might be my favorite. That might be my favorite episode. Period.
But to me, I think my favorite episode of the show was the second to last episode of season 3, and it's the episode where 13 and 7. It's cool because the show took the premise, the concept, and I feel like this has been done before, but I can't think of like a really great example. But it took the slice of life concept, gave us all these characters, fun experiences. We got to live the memories that 7 then later says are the thing that's like helping him hold on. Like. As his identity is shattering, he's starting to regain his amnesia, or the memories lost because of his amnesia. He's starting to become the assassin that he was before. But the memories of the new people that he met along the way, the ridiculous, the goofy, the season 1, the season 2, parts of season 3 episodes suddenly are a component of what's letting 7 continue forward. And he has a pretty good conversation with 13 in that cave. about the value of sort of the people in his life and how that's so all of a sudden there's like the theme of Scissor Seven comes out. It's like surprise. The actual theme was, the friends you made all along, which is okay. Yeah. I'm okay with that sometimes.
Friends you made along the way.
But then that just catapults right into the final episode where you get some of the most batshit awesome animation. 13 fighting Blackbird and 7 in the finale. I was like some of the coolest 2D animation I've seen in a while. And I was like, wow, it's just some really impressive 2D animation, because you can tell sometimes with the show where they cut some corners, and they know how to use limited budget and limited animation to create really cool stuff. But then there are just these really fluid shots where you'll see beautifully worked out animation and you go, wow, holy shit. But yeah, I was a little bummed. Sorry, we got into season 3. 2 just went right into season 3. I was a little bummed season 3 ends with like kind of a major cliffhanger is what I would call it. Like they just like kind of like,
well, there's going to be a movie.
Yeah, and then it was like movie. And I was like, okay. I don't know.
We'll find out in the movie.
I wonder if the movie's going to be like the finale of the series. That's what it kind of feels like. Because right now, okay, so
I have a lot of questions still, though. I hope it's not. I hope there's more at least.
It's I don't know. It's goofy enough that I think that they don't have to do a lot to wrap up, because 7 just needs to beat the king of the shadow assassins or whatever. And then stop all the assassinations and go back to Chicken Island and live with his friends. Like, to me, like that's all that needs to happen at this point. Because they beat Blackbird, but those other two Shadow, what are they called? League of Shadow Killers? Something like that.
Shadow Killers.
The Shadow Killers. The other two Shadow Killers are like right there on the island too, that they're on, where it's just like 13 and 7. And honestly, I have a suspicion. Here's just my suspicion, because in season 3, characters just started showing up that were from Chicken Island. They just made it to the other island. Daibo was like, I was looking for the girls. When he showed up on he was like, oh, I heard there were fine ladies here. But I have a suspicion that in the film, every character that he's ever, I mean, we've got it.
Laid the seeds of the bodyguard guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The bodyguard guy in 11 are literally like traveling essentially
to there, right?
Right. So that's already being set up.
And we left Meow Kai on the Ugly Island.
Right. So. The other characters are kind of stationed at different areas around. I mean, Daibo's at the island where the thumb guy was. They're all gonna have to collapse on top. 7's gonna be on his last whim.
Mad Bark's
because
be playing.
This is a show that uses like tropes for the joke, but also it's still, it doesn't make it any less cool. You know what I mean? It's like just because there's like a fucking trope that's about to happen, just because someone's gonna swoop in and save him last minute, doesn't mean that it's not. I'm not still like excited.
Mad Bark is gonna be saying like on your left, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, bro.
Right. And I think any good like action comedy, shonen comedy parody like this can do that in a way that you are still excited about the characters. That's, and to me, these characters are funny as hell. I honestly, I found them all quite funny. I liked the, what is his name? Ichiro or whatever. He was like one of the assassins that he like made his hair into a fucking flat top. Like he said, go get him, Street Fighter. And then his hair went back to normal. But, I thought that guy's so funny. I think he is going to definitely come back. And did you guys notice also the big bad from each of the seasons are like voiced in the English dub by like popular anime voice actors? I thought that was so funny, dude.
Wait, who voiced Red Tooth?
So the first guy was Crispin Freeman, the Stain guy from the end of season 1. Red Tooth is Todd Haberkorn. The voice of Natsu and blah 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 blah. And then the Blackbird in season 3 was Steve Blum. So I thought that was pretty fucking. I thought that was a nice little kind of. I mean, it's not really Easter egg, but like it's sort of in that zone of things, because just sort of a cool homage to the anime world and all of that stuff. But I really liked. I mean, a lot of the cast was Asian people, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know how that came about. I also really wonder how Ronnie Chang got attached to this project, because I don't know if he's just passionate about Scissor 7 or if he saw the original version and like wanted to bring it up. I have no idea what his like connection to it is, but it's really cool that he did it because he really has not done much voice work or really even a lot of acting. He's more of like a stand-up comedian / correspondent. So like acting, but he is the perfect person to play this role. Like he
very funny,
incredibly funny delivery of a lot of his lines across the board as Seven, and I think that just some just great stuff. But some of the other voice actors like also pretty unknown. I was like looking them all up. I don't know if you guys looked them up, but like I'm behind the voice actor, a lot of unknowns. Okay, so that's pretty much that's the deep dive, I guess, of all the seasons. I don't know. I think I went into the show with low expectations. I didn't love it at first, but by the end of season 3, I kind of started to really like it. That's the, at the end of season 1, I was like, okay, it's a gag, blah, blah, blah. Kenny was like, wait for the fun anime shit to start happening in season 2. I said, okay. Then I put on season 2, I was like, okay, I'm kind of vibing. That's a little boring in the middle there. But I think season 3 kind of got the formula down a little better. And the action and some of the heart of it actually came across for me. And by the end of season 3, I just like Seven and Daibo. I like them. Yep. So even if I don't care, even if the plot around them is like Bobobo-esque, like then it doesn't even matter because Daibo and Seven for life, dog. And
I like Bobobo. That's just it.
Like, and Bobobo's fucking dope. That's Jelly Jiggler, Don Patch, Gasser, Soften. Those are my homies.
But I remember all the fusion guys.
Right. Even though Bobobo's just the same shit. I mean, this show was a lot. The more that I watched Scissor Seven, I got a lot of Bobobo. Yeah, I got a lot of that inspiration. And I think Bobobo is just one of those earlier manga to really parody like shonen battles. And this is kind of parodying the same thing. And it's very different than something like One Punch Man. Because One Punch Man kind of parodies almost the superhero genre to some degree as opposed to just shonen. But Scissor Seven feels very much like a parody of shonen anime and manga. And I'm sure it's inspired by some other things as well, including probably some Chinese stories, But you can just really feel that. And so I felt a lot of Bobo. By the end, I was like, oh, this is a lot like Bobobo. It's very madcap and very goofy. Things can just happen.
Do y'all remember that dude from Bobobo that was just a blob of blue goo?
You talking about Jelly Jiggler?
Jelly Jiggler, right?
Jelly Jiggler.
Commander Jelly Jiggler, dog.
Oh, no. The bald army.
The baldy balds. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Scissor Seven for me, like, I don't know. Like, I just did not care at all about what was happening plot-wise or, like, behind the scenes with what was going on. Like, the gags were really funny, I thought. And the animation for me was like the biggest reason why I wanted to keep watching.
Yep.
Because the animation would always pop off.
The thing
other than that, it was like kind of hard for me to care about anything else.
This is a show with great animation, with
amazing animation,
a really awesome score. The music was really good in the show.
The music,
really good music, and really good animation. Yeah. And when you get those two things together, and you can do anything that has good animation and a good score, you can usually get people to buy in, like there's at least a little bit of fucking buy-in there. So you're right. But I still, by the end, I did like Seven and Daibo a lot. I like the two characters. I think that they're just goofy enough and just fun enough that I really do give a shit.
Lovable enough.
And Seven, I don't know if I really care that much about his amnesia plot line, blah, blah, blah. Because the reality of it is they've already kind of set up where it's going. And that's once he gets all his memory back, it doesn't matter. The new memories he made are more important. And he's going to choose them over his past, obviously. That's like already set up and in the stones there, but
yeah.
I think that's just for the sake of like, okay, we want to make sure there's a theme to all of this or a purpose to all of this show. So, but it's dope. It's still cool.
Yeah.
Kenny, you won me over with Scissor Seven.
To watch.
Scissor Seven is funny, bro.
It's just weird. And I like that.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. Absurd.
Did Kenny make us watch? Okay, I think I'm going crazy.
Okay.
Kenny, did you make us watch another? Did you make us watch another like comedy weird show, or am I like going crazy, dude? Was there like another weird comedy show you made us watch, or am I? I'm like trying to think back. Like I feel like on the
during
podcast,
like the period of time when we were like each picking shows to
yeah,
review?
like I feel like we Kenny picked some like weird comedy that we had to watch, and I cannot remember like what it was.
Is the one about Yuki Cross?
No, not that one. Not
Cross Academy?
not at the Cross Academy. No, I genuinely think that I'm having like one of those
Yeah.
weird.
I wanted to do March Comes In Like a Lion. I remember that.
Oh my god, we do need to watch that. I've been wanting to watch that. Go back to it.
I
We
just
should, we
read
should
the
bring
new
that back.
chapter.
We should,
I've
we
seen
should
the
bring that
first
back, that
episode.
rotation.
It might be time to start rotating again, guys.
We should
'cause
bring
we
that
have-
back. Well, Kenny picked
I
Scissor
wonder,
Seven, so
viewers
Jerry, you
at
got the
home,
next one.
listeners, everyone that's watching, we've definitely pivoted pretty hard. When we first started the podcast, we did a lot of. We would all just kind of, the three of us would each kind of pick a show, and we'd watch 1 or 2 shows each week, and we'd kind of rate and review it. And obviously, we just spent the last 30 minutes reviewing Scissor Seven, essentially, which is kind of what we've done before. But we definitely pivoted a lot as we started to get more guests on. We started to really focus in on doing seasonal stuff and making sure we were keeping up with our seasonal anime and talking about that to stay on topic. But we definitely wanted to cycle back in some of those reviews. I know people have wanted to maybe hear from us about like retro reviews, and obviously Kenny just really wanted to talk about Scissor Seven for 30 minutes. So
Yeah. I just think everybody should know about Scissor Seven. Okay, it's fun.
I feel like I'm having a weird Mandela effect that you like that there was another comedy that you made us think about. It makes me wonder if at some point way back in the past on the
Was
podcast.
it What the Koi?
No. I feel like at some point in the past, you might have actually told us to watch Scissor Seven, like many months. You know what I mean? Like a year ago, you were like, "Guys, we should watch Scissor Seven," and I was like, "Huh,
I
that's
think you
that
mentioned it
one."
when season 3 dropped, actually, which was like a year ago.
Bro, that might have been the case, and that might be what I'm remembering, and that's why I'm like freaking out about it because I'm like, maybe I'm having a specific memory of Kenny telling me to watch Scissor Seven,
Yeah.
and it's like triggering a secondary like level of memory.
I think you're like, wait, I think we already talked about
I'm like,
this.
did we do this? I don't know. Beside the point.
Should we?
Kenny.
What?
Jeremiah?
I was like, should we rate Scissor Seven?
I think we should, but I wanted to make sure you guys got. I was definitely talking a lot about it, so I was like, "Tell me, boys, what else about Scissor Seven do the
David,
viewers need to hear?"
Look, I'm going to be honest with the listeners, with the guests. Listening to this podcast, I was playing not Overwatch. I was playing Valorant, and I had on the other screen, I had Scissor Seven playing, and I was also playing Elden Ring earlier while I was watching Scissor Seven, and I would look over during the animation peaks, but the story, I was like, I don't give a fuck about the story. I just want to see all the cool animation.
Wow.
So when I said that earlier, I did as
wow.
what a
scrub! What a scrub!
The animation.
This guy.
So I saw all the animation. I watched season 1.
What a
Started
guy
season
this
2.
is.
That was like, I don't give a shit about this. Let's play some Elden Ring.
Oh my
So,
god.
Hashtag Elden Ring Game of the Year 2022.
Oh my god.
I'm playing Elden Ring right now.
What's crazy is I'm playing Elden Ring too. No, I'm just.
I'm
But
actually in the Elden Ring.
Wow, David, that's great. I'm just happier. I'm happy you're being upfront with the listeners. You know, you're being
I'm an
honest
honest
with them.
sometimes I've been told I'm too honest.
You know,
so
he's too honest. He just wanted to make sure. Well, just so you guys know, I sat my ass down and I actually watched Scissor Seven and actually took some. Kenny told me I needed to watch it, and after season 1, I really was not. I really thought I was going to drop it. Because I also felt the same way at the end of season 1, where I was like, it's just a little too much. It's not really doing
honestly,
its
of
thing.
the 3 seasons, season one is my favorite one.
David, that's the only one you watched.
No, I watched season 2 and 3 too. I don't know what you're talking about, Jerry. I watched.
Sorry.
I think season 3 is my favorite.
Yeah, I think season 3 is actually my favorite too. Is what I was gonna say. I think that season 3.
Ugly Man Island was.
I think season 3 is where I finally felt like I got it. You know, like season 1, it was like a little too on the gags. Season 2 was like a little too transitionary. Season 3 is when they finally kind of met the balance I think that they wanted with the show, and we finally were bought into the characters enough to be like, oh yeah, I give a fuck, and so I'm gonna actually give it a shot or give it a chance. I think the show is just ripe for like just fun stuff though. There's so much more fun stuff they can get out of this, but it seems like the movie that they've set up is gonna. I feel like that feels like a finale to the show for all. You know what I mean? Like,
who knows though? You know,
maybe they'll do a movie and then do another season. I don't know. But Chinese animation is a little harder to track. This is, and just to clarify again, this is not a Japanese anime. Scissor Seven is made in China.
Although Netflix does say on its intro, it's a Netflix original anime. So,
right. Yep. They also called, I think, Dota Dragon's Blood an original anime. So I don't know what the hell Netflix thinks anime is. But beside the point, I ended up liking the show a lot more than I thought, Ken, because I told you guys after I saw season 1, I was like, eh. But season 2 and 3, I slowly got more invested. In 3 is when I really was like, wait, I do like this, actually. I really enjoyed this. Guys, his sword, it breaks into tiny pieces and it can reform. I forgot
His
we didn't even get to
weapon
mention his
probably
weapon.
Probably the most unique thing.
What
in
a
the show.
strange
I think
and
I've
cool
ever seen
thing.
anything like that
And then he
before.
just doesn't want to use it to use his fucking flying scissors that he snaps in half, which is just adds
the name
to the
Scissor Seven.
Daibo can transform them into anything.
I love that. I love how even later in the show he still continues to transform into shit. Even though in season 1 it was clear that like every time he did that, bad things would happen to him. Like he always got tortured or like fucked with every time. So he just keeps transforming. I don't know, just so much ridiculous underlayers of stuff. But yeah, Kenny, any closing thoughts? I mean, Scissor Seven was your suggestion, bro. Like
Scissor Seven.
You watched it a long time ago, also, but you recently watched season 3, right?
I watched season 3 today. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. But I just had a really good time with it, man. It just is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Whenever that cat started playing that backstory for that ugly guy, it just like I was just cracking up.
That is
or
still
whatever.
That is one of my favorite parts. I mean, no question about it. I really enjoy that part too.
Or whatever all the people turned golden or whatever on that island, and I was just like, oh man.
I like the guy who's got his thumbs and he kept poking him in the fucking underarms.
Yeah.
He was like, pop, 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 pop.
Ancient he gives them thumbs.
It's a thumbs up. Yeah, it's a thumbs
up, down.
Yeah. And he was like fighting the fucking double dragons, and I was like, what the fuck? There's just a lot going on.
Even though earlier in the episode he said, if it's 1-on-1, I surely won't lose.
Yeah. bro, that's literally. I was like, only 1-on-1. Okay, so it's a good show in a weird way, guys. So I think the only thing I can say is that like this show's not going to be for everyone. If you listen to this review and you haven't watched the show yet, there's really the only thing I can say is that if you're willing / interested in just really well done animation and really great music, and you're willing to just kind of have a good time and just invest in something that's going to be a little fun, it's short enough that if you wanted, you could binge it in a day. You might want to break it up a little bit. I watched season 2 and 3 in a day, but then I watched all of season 1 a different day. So, you can do however you want. Beside the point, it's definitely something that's more. Don't take it seriously. This is not fucking Attack on Titan. You know, this isn't a serious show. Hell, it's not even Mob Psycho, where Mob Psycho took the parody aspect, developed it into something crazy, intense, and really well written. It's not even really that. It's still a gag series at its core. And you don't really have to make meaning of like every little piece of Scissor Seven. There's no like, I don't know. You don't have to care about 13's mentor or his motivations. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They're just going to do what they do, and they're going to fucking fight and throw scissors around. Daibo's going to fight a fucking giant chicken man, and Seven's going to fucking chop people up with it. He's going to cut people's hair and shit. So, that's it. That's Scissor 7. Let's rate it, boys.
Scissor 7.
In 3, 2, 1.
I have to give it a 7.
I'm giving it a 7 for Scissor 7 too. David went 6.
All right, I went 6.
That's
David
fine.
said, "Fuck that show." All I played was Valorant. All day.
I was like, I'm next show. Ranking of Kings. That's an actual great show.
Shut your damn.
I'm excited to talk about that show.
Okay. Well, yes. There's our official scores for this. I give it a 7. My only thought process is that it's definitely not
called Scissor 7.
It's better than something that's kind of in the middle. And I think that I was originally going to give it a 6 too, but I think by the end of the show I just felt so attached that I bumped it up 1 point, which is like, yeah, because if I'm looking for this type of show, it does it better than other shows I've watched. There hasn't really been a quality comedy anime like this that I have laughed as much at and actually like enjoyed the art, animation, and style of it and aesthetic of it. Kind of reminds me of that. Wait, Kenny has his things off, but can you hear me, Ken?
Yeah, bro, I got you.
Do you remember Sexy Commando, Sugoyo Masaru-san, an old Shonen Jump series about the guy who would like pull his pants down and he would do like an attack on the rooftop when he surprises them by like showing his underwear. It's like an old
classic show.
Those sorts of energy just doesn't exist. I mean, like Mashal. Mashal's done a really good job. I would love to see a Mashal anime now.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
David and I turned from like Mashal haters to like Mashal lovers now.
Oh,
but
I love Mashal.
Once
I
read Mashal, I was like, wait a second, I love this.
Yeah, it took me like 4 chapters.
I'm so
of
rude
to love it. So
I read Mashal and I was like, wait, actually, it's pretty.
Whatever.
Funny.
You're gonna be like, man, I'm watching this new anime. It's called Blue Lock.
Have you guys heard of it? Actually, can you guys imagine if I start an episode? I'm like, all right, guys. So today, oh my god, I found the coolest new anime.
Probably never.
David, I'll be like, David, Kenny, listen. You guys are. It's about soccer. Oh my god. Blue Lock. You guys have to check this one out. Put it on your Kenny would throw his table. He'd be done. He'd be like,
I've been talking about that for months.
Beside the point, Mashal. But Mashal, that sort of energy. If you're looking for something like that, Scissor Seven fills that niche. That's why
Scissor
I gave it 7 for Scissor Seven. Boys, what about your
Scissor
rankings?
7.
Honestly, I feel like 6 is very generous for me.
Wow.
So.
David said, "Fuck this."
From the
show.
guy from the. Maybe if
like,
you had...
I wanted pure gag. And
yeah, he needed more.
I didn't get enough of the gag.
Yeah,
so.
and I respect that perspective. I think that this show could have leaned into that and just been a whole gag series for the whole way through. It didn't have to pull the whole bait and switch into like a serious tone or whatever, but I don't care. I mean, it still works for me, but respectable.
It depends on the show of like either going all one genre or kind of. It just depends because I feel like you can kind of go that line and have a successful show or like have a show where it's adapted well or whatever.
Right.
But with this, I was like, no, I want full gag, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Gags.
Maybe the movie. We'll go. Maybe they'll listen to my advice, and the movie will just go full gag. And
I have a strong suspicion that the movie's going to go the exact opposite direction. I feel like the movie is being planned to be the climax to the whole Assassin Island arc. Yeah. So I think that that's where they're like getting with it. But
I'm ready to see all the 40 characters that they've introduced.
Maybe you're right, Dave.
Maybe like a final battle, and
maybe the movie will open it up, and it's just going to be like a land of penises, and they're just going to start slapping each other, and just like
I just want to see him transform into a dog and eat shit. Like,
yeah, dude, that's that's all we.
Oh, I forgot.
I forgot. In season 1, the dog was like, "Prove it, eat that shit,
eat this shit,
eat this shit,
eat it." He was like,
"Oh." Yo, I forgot about that.
This show is ridiculous.
This show's gold.
That was actually that's a very funny moment. That's very funny.
Shit. Prove it.
Okay,
shit. Boys, great job. Just
What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Let's have a quick interim conversation, okay, guys? That was a good topic, but in between this next topic and this previous topic, we had a really tight pickle jar. I got a jar of pickles, and it would not open. I swear to you, it would not open. This jar, I couldn't get it open. So I brought it into David's room, and David couldn't get it open neither. And so I put it back in the fridge, Jerry, and waited a couple days. And so last night, we came home.
And David, we opened it last night.
David had that drunk man strength, and he got the jar of pickles, and he went. And then finally he went, and it came open.
Wow!
Kenny, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot. I don't remember that.
Wow!
Until you said the story, then I remembered it. But
wow!
Yeah, last night was a fun time.
Let me tell you, pickle jars are just there's something
you
we
just
take
need
for
that
granted.
drunken strength, I guess.
There's something you take for granted.
Wow!
So perfect segue into ranking of kings.
Yeah.
Because there's really only like. I can always mispronounce his name. Boss?
I don't. It's either boss or it's bossy. That's how I think it's pronounced.
I thought I say Bose, like the earphones.
Like Bose? I don't think I don't think it's Bose, but maybe it's Bose.
Wait, I'm gonna look it up.
I assume it was either boss and the E's silent or it's bossy.
Boss Sama.
I think it's Bose. Bose.
I
Yeah.
think they say Bose. Bose.
Like the
They say
headphones?
Bose-sama.
Where?
I'm trying.
For
I'm
the
remembering
kids
like everyone's
or
saying
boys,
like
bro?
Boss-sama. I think it's.
I
Fuck.
thought it's Bose, like the headphones.
I don't think that there's a Z sound. I'm trying to think in the Japanese alphabet. There's not really like a. If they're saying Bose, they're saying like Bose. Bose.
Bose.
Yeah, like that's got to be. It's like Bose.
Okay, guys, get in the
Bose.
comments. Who's saying it right?
Bosu.
Okay.
It's pronounced Bosu.
Bosu. So it's. That means it's definitely like. It's either. It's probably just boss. It's probably just pronounced boss in English, is my guess. Bose.
Yeah.
Bose. It's probably boss, but
Bosu.
because Bose. Maybe it's Bose. Bose.
Well, this is telling me the Japanese pronunciation is
It's
Bosu.
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 So, anyway, Ranking of Kings, great show.
Yeah.
Go watch
Oh,
it.
sorry.
That's the review. It's pronounced Bosu.
Okay.
Bosu, in case you're wondering.
We'll
It's a
plan
great
it
show.
right
Go
now.
watch
We'll plan it right now.
Okay.
In 3 weeks, we're going to do a full review of Ranking of Kings. The show has
Yep.
2 episodes left as of this recording. We
Yep.
want to wait till the season's over to give you a full review, but we got to talk about it right now for mainly 2 things. A, I caught up, and David and Kenny have been caught up.
Yep.
Guys, so fair warning, if you're not caught up on Ranking of Kings right now, go watch it. And
Yes.
I don't want you to be spoiled on anything. So if I'll try to keep it spoiler free-ish, but just I don't want you to be spoiled on anything. So go watch it and then come back and hear what we're talking about.
One of the best
here.
shows to watch this season. So
First off, Boji's he's so amazing. Guys,
Best
I
boy.
love Boji.
Okay,
hey,
this is some bullshit.
Crunchyroll
Okay,
award-winning
This
best
is-
boy.
No,
This is
Kitty,
not
Kitty.
Blue Rock level, but
I
I've
know,
been
I
seeing
know, I know,
Boja's
I know.
trailers for weeks.
That's why I
Weeks.
said it.
Kenny has been saying best boy.
I had to
for-
jump in and Kenny, you got me on the bandwagon. You got me on it. You got me
Boji
on it,
whipped
dog.
that ass, bro.
I sat
Boji's the
down.
best.
I love Boji like he's my own
Yeah,
child.
I love him.
I mean,
I love
Boji
him.
is just everything to the
What-
world. Just awesome.
Whenever he's sad, I'm sad. Whenever
I'm gonna be
happy,
that person to say Kage is my favorite.
Okay,
Kage is
fuck
my
you.
favorite
No.
character.
David, what are you
No, I
even
like
thinking?
I like Kage too. Boji and Kage are both
Yeah,
great.
Kage's
Kage's
got that
cool.
that best friend energy. He's like,
Yeah,
Bo's my best friend.
Kage
Like, I'm gonna
does.
support him no matter what. I'll be there for him. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Okay, I have to talk about this though because the other thing that I just could not stop thinking about is that I find Queen Hilling incredibly hot. Like just unfortunately attractive. Like
Listen,
I don't know why, but I'm like she's absolute waifu material. Like 10 out of 10.
Honestly,
When her hair's down, dude, and she's like wearing her outfit like in the current arc, yo, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna make me act up, dog. Queen Hilling
Oh
is
my
absolute waifu, dog.
and you know what's really hot?
Behave.
Hey, you know what's really hot about Healing
Mhm.
is her love for Boji. You know, like that is what you know.
That motherly
goddamn it.
love.
that love. you know?
She's just perfect. Like as an adult, she's a great adult waifu to have because I'm just
No,
like,
I
wow,
agree.
10 out of 10. I am a Queen Healing fan, absolutely. And I think
Oh, yeah.
I also really like Desha and Despa. They're
Oh yeah, The brothers?
incredible, just
Come on,
incredibly funny.
I love the hand over mouth thing.
They're both
Yes.
great.
He's like
And
lightning.
The tragic component that's built in there with the third brother, I'm forgetting his
Yeah,
name.
Oaken. Oaken.
Oaken. Just heartbreaking. I mean, just so incredible. Just some of the best
There's
writing.
a lot of sad shit in this story.
Oh, yeah.
It's so
And
well written.
to have Desha and Despa have such a great relationship, despite the circumstances they're in, and despite the issues with Oaken, and it just is wonderful. It's such a wonderfully written,
And their differences. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
such
like,
a wonderfully written characterization for both of them. And I really thought the whole time I kept thinking Despa's going to be a bad guy. For some reason, I just kept thinking that. And the fact that Despa continued to prove me wrong and never turned. He's not just a good guy, he's a great guy. And
Yeah.
he's been so great for Boji.
Believer
And-
about Boji the
since day
Desperate
one.
Arts, bro.
Despa was the one that was like, no one can beat Boji.
Yeah,
he said it.
He has his sword, no one can beat him.
I fuck with it. And the only character that I'm just like constantly worried about his mental health is Domus. Or Domus, that's his name, right?
The
Domas.
shield guy?
No, the
the guy that was within that betrayed.
He pushed Boji into the mouth or whatever.
Yeah.
That guy's got some wrong. He's got screw loose, dog. He is like the most.
He tried to Akun himself,
there's something wrong with that man. I am constantly.
Damn, this super tough body. I can't kill myself.
I'm like, why is he there? I'm like, there's something wrong with him. David, Queen Hilling's bodyguard. That's like the perfect cosplay for you, like.
David.
Oh my god! The whole time I was like,
"We be the big four, bro."
Of the big four, he is my favorite.
I was like, David.
That whole fight with him, he was like fighting those dogs,
and
like a bunch of other things, like all by himself.
Yeah.
Lost an eye, like
bro. Yeah, he went off. Yeah, he popped off.
Bro, we could do the big
the
four
whole
cosplay,
time,
bro.
I mean, the only issue is that David's the only one that fits. I mean,
I could be Bebin.
Yeah, but then I can't. I'm definitely not the other two.
You could be Domas, I guess.
The blonde,
fully shave your beard,
the long-haired blonde one.
Get a wig.
We could make Alex be the last guy.
Who's the last one?
We'll make him dye his hair
Aspa
blonde.
Or something like that. Aspen.
Appius.
Appius.
The spear guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do like the spear guy a lot, though. So maybe I could be the spear guy. And Alex
I actually think the
Domas.
spear guy's the chicken shit guy. So
what?
Oh,
yeah,
I just realized
kind of
healing is like she heals.
Yeah,
that's
healing.
Yes, it's a play on her
David,
name.
what's going on here? What's going on?
I just
You're saying you just now got
after,
that?
seeing it like
okay, so
written out. I'm like, oh, that. Okay.
Ranking of Kings is given, and also, Wit Studio is so fucking good at their job. Oh my fucking god! Fuck everyone else. Wit Studio is god tier. They just know exactly what they're doing.
Music?
Oh my
episode
god!
Like 1.
Yes.
Like I remember in episode 1, whenever Bebin and Appius fought, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is about to kick off.
This is it. This is it, dog. And yeah,
I can't wait till Boji's beating ass.
So here's the deal, listeners. If you haven't watched Ranking of Kings yet, you need to go watch it, and just don't put it off. This is the type of show. And here's the deal, because we need to get into this too. There's a pretty massive controversy around the show right now, and it's actually a controversy that came up a couple years ago when this storyline propped up in the manga. And now, obviously, the anime has followed through in adapting the storyline accurately to the anime. So this whole controversy has come back around. And there's really been no resolution for what the state of this issue is. So I want to kind of tell you guys, listeners, what is kind of going on with it. Because I do think that for some, it's going to make the show tough to watch. And I think even for me, like, it's definitely like, oh, man. I think that there's a means to enjoy the show without feeling like the controversy around it destroys the merits of the show. Does that mean that potentially the person who created it might hold a very problematic belief? Yeah, it might be the case. We don't really have a lot of clear verification if that's the case. And also, we don't even really have super clear verification if this is truly where the inspiration was. A lot of people are making some, what's the word?
Inferences?
What's the one that makes an ass out of you and me? Assumptions.
Assumptions.
A lot of people are making some assumptions about this, but unfortunately, the author has chosen to not respond to comments, which is kind of makes things a little bit more hazy in my mind. Beside the point. Yeah. Let's talk about it. So I pulled up the article. Or shit, I thought I did, and then I deleted it, I guess. Whoopsie. So here's how it goes, guys. So later in the story, there's a character named Miranjo. Okay? And Miranjo has a pretty dark backstory that involves being essentially the child of these wizards. And the wizards go and team up with this other village. And while in this other village, while they're fighting the gods, the other village turns on the wizards, kills them all, and then essentially beats and abuses Miranjo and chops her face off, I believe is what's implied. And then Boss comes in and saves Miranjo at the last minute, takes her away from the circumstance and gets out of the whole situation. Boss was helping the wizards to fight the gods that were coming. That's kind of the quick overview of what happens in the story. So Here's
like an
kind of
entire
how it
episode,
goes.
right?
So viewers are claiming that the show, I'm going to read this from an article, so don't, I'm quoting an article here. Viewers are claiming that the show contains historical revisionist dog whistling, using the countries of Homa and Gyakuza as an allegory for the historical relationship between Japan and Korea. In the show, the country of Homa is depicted as filled with entirely good people trying to help the people of Gyakuza. In comparison, the country of Gyakuza is shown to be self-centered, primitive, and living in shacks and squalor. And there's some imagery from the show that also is in the manga that seems to represent or look really close to some old photographs from, I believe it's from Korea. And now I'm quoting the article again here. Now that the storyline has reached the anime proper, fans are once again pointing out similarities between old pictures of pre-colonized Korea and those taken post-colonization with scenes that were depicted in the anime. This has also reignited the debate on if this representation is appropriate to appear on screens, especially in a popular anime. A user commented, "Only the Gyakuza country, which seems to be a metaphor for South Korea, is depicted as a complete evil. There is no country in the world where all the people are villains. This work, which depicts a specific country as evil, is dangerous because it justifies hate speech to a specific country or ethnic group, even in reality." Now, similar comments were made after a particular section of the original web manga was released back in 2019. The manga with the people of Gyakuza tried to tell the gods the people of Homa committed atrocities against them. One says, "But if the Homa were so awful to you, took everything from you like you claim, then why did they build hospitals and schools here? You guys look prosperous to me." So that line was removed from the anime, but was an original line in the manga, something that the gods said to the Gyakuza.
Oh, I feel that makes it more.
And many people pointed out that this was similar to arguments made by Japanese nationalists in regard to various events that occurred when Japan annexed Korea in 1910, including how comfort women were brought from the latter country to the former. The nerve to collectively describe an ethnic group as evil in the work, one user wrote on Twitter at the time, "The creator has no dignity." That's kind of the broad overview there. That's just one article. That was the article from Game Rant is the website I was reading that article from. A lot of websites have published similar articles about the whole thing.
So basically, the thing is that there's this comparison in the manga, or in the anime, in the manga, of this Japanese Korean type of historical relationship that's always been pretty bad, pretty rough. And the thought is the mangaka is using that as inspiration for this scene from Moranjo's backstory.
Right.
Is a high level.
Yeah, that's the broad overview is that essentially a character in the story and a group of people in the story are represented in a way that might have some implications about the way that the Japanese author, views
how
what
they
happened.
personally view
Right.
Yeah.
How they viewed the history there, and there may be some overlap. But again, what's weird is that the author, from what I can find, seems to not want to make any comment to or
They're neither
against
confirming or denying.
Right.
The
There seems to
inspiration
be
behind
some which again I just don't know how to partake in that. Beside the point.
Right.
I think that the author may have those views, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, especially that line too. That and the fact that they removed Wit Studio removed it from the anime.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. That line was taken out from the anime adaptation. So that's it. It may even mean that Wit's kind of aware, maybe we should clean this up a little bit.
Right.
Beside the point, it's really tough because this is such a great story about overcoming adversity, about finding the people that matter in your life. It's about, understanding people with difference and disability and giving them the opportunities and rising up and supporting them. There's so many incredible themes. So it's really shitty to learn that there could be some underlying negative issues there.
Yeah.
And I think that it really, it is tough that there's been so many discussions. I mean, we've talked about it, separating the art from the artist. Can we still love Kanye even though Kanye is a very terrible person?
Right.
I might get in trouble for saying that. Some people don't think Kanye is a terrible person.
I mean, he's the stuff he's been doing recently is kind of.
He's a man who's done some pretty weird things in the last many years.
Yeah.
But he's also a wonderful musical artist.
Kill Pete Davidson, so.
I mean, he did. Yeah, it was weird. But there's tons of people in history that we still uphold many of their art many of their things that have outlasted them and the themes and stories they tell. And I think Miranjo's story, in the context of the story, without the potential revisionist history aspect, if you had no idea what it was referencing, I think it works as a interesting and compelling storyline. And I also think that sometimes you can take inspiration from history without it being the beliefs of the person that's writing it, if that makes any sense. Like, I think sometimes you can write stories from very dark and very bad perspectives and utilize them to uplift your story and write a good story. And that can be whatever. It doesn't immediately imply that the author feels that way, right? People have written really wonderful stories about death, murder, about all this stuff. It doesn't make them murderers. It doesn't make them, So I think that's what's weird to me is that I think what's even weirder is that why didn't the author just come out and explain, like, I took inspiration from some of the concepts of the way that people perceive that, but I'm using that as a means to tell the story. It doesn't represent my beliefs, If you're the author, that's all you have to say, and then that clears things up. Like, oh, they took some inspiration from a dark thing to utilize it in a way to kind of tell or, do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable or informed at all about Korean-Japanese relations historically, so
me neither.
Maybe it's something related to, I don't know, maybe it's something that would have been looked at in Japan or something, and if this person came out and was like, hey, like this is my inspiration, maybe that would have been like, oh, you're looking at this, okay, we don't want anything to do with this type of beat, is what I'm guessing. Maybe that it's like taboo to talk about. I have no idea.
It does seem like that's part of why this keeps coming up, though, is because of that. But I don't know. It's tough. It definitely puts kind of a weird shadow over the whole series. But it really is undeniable how wonderful of a series it is, and the sorts of good lessons that are there in this show. Wonderful lessons for people that anyone around the world needs to hear and see. So it's really tough to have that. Still, I mean, it almost makes me wish that Wit had just taken the whole backstory out or done something different, because it wouldn't have damaged.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like story wise. I feel like it's kind of important.
It is, but at least
it gives
with slight revision. I think they could have kept some of Miranjo's, because the idea here is that if you take the whole plot out, then Miranjo no longer has motivation. Like, she doesn't have character motivation. So the backstory gives her character motivation. But you could probably rewrite it in a way that could potentially be just as impactful and deliver the same type of story. Because obviously Miranjo is a very tragic character. And that's sort of the end all of, especially where we're getting to right now as the show's wrapping up. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Thoughts? I don't know, guys. I'm pretty weird. I'm feeling weird about it. But I'm also like, man, I don't want to tell people not to watch the show because of that. And I don't know if... I don't know. Again, I'm not super versed on all of this. I'm not impacted directly by the Korean-Japanese relations. I don't have any knowledge about the history of Korean-Japanese relations. I don't know, and I do believe, based on my tertiary research, that there was some pretty shitty things that were done by Japanese people to Korean people when they were in Korea in the early 1900s. And that's fucked up, and it's pretty fucked up to portray it in media in a way that could be sympathizing towards the purveyors of aggression. Yeah. So it's tough, and that's where it's like, fuck, I don't know, but it definitely is tough, and it's weird when it crosses that line into like fiction and writing fictional media, because again, like I said, you can write tough topics and use things as tough inspiration to write good stories, but it doesn't make you the bad person unless you also hold those bad beliefs, I guess, Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if anyone that's like if Japanese or Korean watchers of the show, when they saw that scene, it made them think to those things specifically.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm definitely curious. I hope that if anyone has any sources or anything from people that are fans from either country or that are maybe Korean American or Japanese American that have any opinions or perspectives, I would love it if you placed a comment down below, gave us your perspective, let us know about maybe you're watching Ranking Kings and you got to this part, or maybe you knew it was coming up, you knew it was going on. I don't know. I would love to hear a little bit about it and the impact it might have, because I just want to know a little bit about that perspective, because I do think about, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to, to try to, like, empathize, like, put it in a way that I think I could understand is, like, if, I don't know, if someone wrote some story and it represented the relations between America and Arab countries, in a certain way, I'm sure that I would be. Then all of a sudden, it would be directly impactful to me, and I would probably feel weird about it, because depending on the way it's depicted, and there aren't even really great depictions of Arab people in media to begin with. So there's already kind of an issue there that conversations have come up, but it just is interesting to me, because I'm like, yeah, I guess that would make me feel uncomfortable, and at least make me go, man, that's not. I don't like the way that's depicted in that story, but I'm not sure how I would feel about it aside from that. I don't know if I would still engage in the media or if I would want to. I probably would, especially if it was really good. I don't know.
Yeah,
like I would. I feel like I've engaged in some good media that, like, people have that were made by shitty people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think maybe like a really good example would be like old Disney films. Like, I'm sure, like, they look cutesy, they look entertaining, but then, like, there's a lot of racial, inspiration, a lot of, like, underlying bigotry behind those cartoons, like portraying, like, black people as crows. Like, that's
right.
That's, like, something that I can kind of, like, relate to, I think.
Yes.
So it's like, I guess that's like the equivalent here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, that.
Yeah.
I think that sucks. Like, fuck Disney.
Yeah.
But
it's very true. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't even think about it, because there were a lot of early Disney cartoons that had a little bit of revisionist history when it comes to slave ownership in America and in some of that stuff. So
yeah. But, as always, guys, we're just going to toss the question off to you. Make sure to get in the comments. Tell us your feelings on Ranking of Kings, okay?
Yeah.
We're still going to do it. Hey, fuck it. We're still doing a full review. I still think this is a wonderful. It sucks because I keep saying there's just so many great things about this show. It's so many greatly written characters. So it's definitely a tough and conflicting sort of conversation to have. So, but it's something we needed to talk about before the show comes to an end and before we have our final discussion about it. So I'm happy we talked about it, and I hope that it gets some discussion going in the comments, because I know that some people are pretty adamant about the fact that, like, and this, I don't feel this way, but I've heard some people on Twitter just say, I don't care. Like, doesn't matter. Yeah. The show's still good. And I'm like, I think there's a little bit more nuance needed to this conversation, because just saying, I don't care, good show, I don't like that. I think that's also
knowledge.
Yeah, like you could like let's have some more nuance to our like. Come on, anime. Now, last episode I kind of went off on anime Twitter. Here we go again. Let me rile back up.
Well, anime Twitter's coming out with the One Piece theories, brother.
Oh my god, we got to get into those a little bit too. But that's what we're gonna wrap up with today.
This is as the next interim conversation in between these two. Second interim conversation, I just realized that Luffy's Snake Man moves like the game Snake. Like he's like, it's like Snake, and not like he's a snake. Like, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. I thought that he was like moving like a snake, I guess, but no, he moves like Snake, like
the game. Yeah,
like the game, like fucking Scratch Man Apu looking ass Snake Man. His hands are moving.
What is Apu doing right now?
I think he got beat.
Reverie?
He's on Wano
no, he's
somewhere,
there.
Dog. He's on Wano,
he's there.
Dog.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's there. Never mind.
Didn't Drake like beat his ass?
Yeah,
he got his ass beat.
I think he's downed right now, but he was fighting.
Is Luffy dead or what?
Oh my god. Okay, so
Luffy died.
Let's get into this.
Spoilers, Luffy died.
To wrap up the Ranking of Kings conversation, though, I think it's really important that everybody have a moment to at least look at what they can about this topic and make a nuanced decision about it, and don't just say I don't care, don't just say nothing matters. There's clearly people that are impacted, and there's a conversation to be had. Take some time, learn about it, watch the show, obviously, but, do your research. Don't just don't be anime Twitter. That's my final response. Don't be anime Twitter, damn it. It's a good show, but it's tough. There's nuance to every conversation about it.
Yep.
So One Piece theories, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you, for this next part,
I'm actually going in blind for this, so this will be good.
For this next part, we're going to be talking about some recent chapters in the manga. We've had to warn some spoilers today, but literally like up to the most recent chapter.
One Piece spoilers.
I think it was
right
like
now.
1047 or something like that.
Yep.
Just, guys, this is going to be spoiler heavy because we're going to have to get into some really specific stuff. So if you're not caught up, I'm sorry. Come back when you're caught up. Let's talk about this. So here's the deal.
Luffy's dead.
Chill.
Kaido just killed Luffy.
Here's the
Wait,
resounding...
it's already been almost a year since chapter 1000?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Chapter 1000 actually comes out in the anime in like a week or two. Well, it's supposed to. That's a whole nother topic. Toei Animation got hacked, and the anime's on indefinite hiatus. Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah, they got fucking...
hacked, I didn't know about
bro, they got
anime.
hacked, and like the anime's on hiatus for a couple weeks until they can figure out what's going on. I was like, what? I was like, well, that's weird. So I think 1012 was the last episode, 1013, something like that. And now they're not going to air one for at least a week or two. Probably at least 2 weeks, maybe longer, depending.
Wow.
But we'll see until they get everything sorted out. But, okay. At the beginning of One Piece, right? The main character, Monkey D. Luffy, consumes a devil fruit. The Gomu Gomu no Mi. The implications of the devil fruit by everyone throughout the series is that his fruit turned him into a rubber man. His body is now made of rubber. It is what's considered in the One Piece universe. Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. It is considered by many that it is a Paramecia style fruit, which we've seen many of throughout the series, like Buggy, who also his fruit makes him fly.
How does he do that?
I'm not sure.
I've always seen because Zoan turned animal. Zoan, Logia is like elements,
and Paramecia, yeah.
Paramecia is just like the random like
Paramecia is
anything goes.
Anything else, yeah. It's literally like it's the other stuff.
It's the chop fruits of the world, okay?
Yeah, it's like
and fucking Candlelock looking.
It's like Boa's fruit and Foxy's fruit and all of the.
Is Chopper's fruit Zoan?
It's Zoan, yeah. He is the human fruit.
Are we animals?
Yes, we're animals.
We're animals. Okay.
It's not that.
Are we animals?
Are we human? Or are we dancers?
The Paramecias are the Candlelocks and the,
Check it out. So
what
we've all known
Fox's power,
for a long time.
What's this theory though?
We've all known for a long time he eats the gum gum fruit. Shanks had it for some reason. Luffy eats it in the first chapter. Yada yada yada. Right.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people really love One Piece because it never felt like throughout the series of One Piece that Luffy was ever guaranteed to win. And actually, the series has pretty adamantly made Luffy lose more than once. And that's kind of a big proponent. I think that's what people have really found quite compelling about One Piece is that the main character, he couldn't plot hacks his way through Marineford, He got his ass whooped. He ran away crying after his brother was murdered in front of him. You know what I mean? His brother and Whitebeard were killed. Luffy couldn't win that, and he didn't need to. That's the power of the story and the way that the story is being told, is that Luffy is on a journey as well to become the Pirate King. And yes, obviously as readers, there's no other answer than Luffy eventually becoming the Pirate King. That is foretold from day one. That's why the story's about Luffy. It would be stupid if he wasn't the Pirate King at the end. We would be viscerally upset if he doesn't end up being the king of the pirates. That is the expectation that has been set for us as a reader. So he is chosen, right? He is destined. There is some destiny at play. But the journey to get there is one that's wrought with defeat and failure, difficulties, and it feeling as if Luffy has constantly had to adapt a very unadaptable fruit to become something better than it is, right? That's why we love Luffy. He's creative. He knows how he's been able to turn this rubber fruit into such a compelling and active battle fruit, right? So, in the last couple chapters, probably like 10 or 20 chapters, maybe 30 or so chapters, Oda has been dropping these weird hints that something is going on Onigashima, that there is a fruit. Some of the words that I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact quotes. Some of the things that have been said are things like, there's a fruit that is finally reaching its awakening on the island, that there was one conversation with the Gorosei where they said something along the lines of, that fruit had to be renamed, right? And some of this is being coupled with some other weird conversations, like Who's Who, when he was fighting Jinbei, he expresses that the Gum Gum fruit was stolen on his watch. And it kind of comes to question, why the fuck did the CP0 have the Gum Gum fruit or whatever? Why was that a thing? And there were also all of a sudden these mentions of a sun god that Who's Who also talked about that sort of seemed out of nowhere. Zunisha arrived to Onigashima recently, and there's this implication that he's there for someone or something. The Gorosei have made an order to kill Luffy. They've made an order to kill Luffy specifically. Okay?
Yep.
And this is a lot of foreshadowing. And what a lot of people are starting to track is that it seems as if we've been lied to for 1,000 chapters, and Luffy doesn't have the Gum Gum fruit. He has something different. That is the resounding theory. And for a lot of fans of One Piece, they're upset. They're upset because they feel like they've been lied to. They feel like this,
like a rug pull?
This is a very much a Deus Ex Machina. Yeah. They feel like it's I think a lot of us that have been reading Wano as it's been coming out, there's this expectation, like, we think Luffy's going to be able to create something from his mind and his capabilities to use his fruit to overcome this circumstance. But if all of a sudden if the story decides that this devil fruit he has been something special all along, and that it wasn't Luffy that was making this happen, I think a lot of fans, maybe appropriately so, are upset or getting upset.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it is a twist on what's considered the chosen one trope, which is an overplayed trope in media that there is. And again, we know that Luffy is the chosen one. We do know that. I mean, from the first chapter. Even from
son of the Revolutionary Army.
Before we knew all of that stuff. Luffy was already the chosen one. From day one, when he said, I'm going to be king of the pirates, he was the chosen one. We knew that. Yeah, we've known. So there's no denying that. But I think that the thought process that we've always had is that Luffy will do it because he has made that exclamation, that he is essentially the unchosen one, which is another media trope, where someone who is not really supposed to get it has essentially forced himself to get it. I think Asta kind of falls into that same realm.
Hard work. And
there's essentially, we know that Asta's going to be the Wizard King, but Asta's journey to being the Wizard King isn't going to be because he was chosen to be the Wizard King or he was some special. That's his counter. That's Yuno. Yuno's the one that the history books foretold, but Asta will end up winning because he is the unchosen. He's going to rise up. I think Luffy has always sort of been that same protagonist for people, and that yes, he's as the story's unfolded, though, you're right. All of a sudden, he's the son of one of the greatest Marine admirals of all time. He's grandson. Yeah, grandson. He's the son of
the Revolutionary Army.
The leader of the Revolutionary Army. He's got a D in his name, which has some sort of historic connection to great people in the world of piracy. He wears a straw hat, which this ancient Aim also seems to wear, and maybe has a connection to Joy Boy. And You know,
and
there's
his mentors, one of the 4 warlords of the sea.
right.
Like,
Luffy is certainly had lots of it, but I think that the fruit is sort of this last straw for people. They still felt like
yeah,
Oda has never let us down. That at the end of the day, Luffy is just a guy made out of rubber, and that he has creatively and through pure intuition and skill been able to adapt that to overcome every obstacle. And I think some fans are let down that it seems like the foreshadowing is leading to us to that not being the case. It's no longer the gum
Right.
fruit. What do you guys think?
I would be pissed too, because like there's been so many specific like story beats throughout the show where his fruit like has to be rubber. Like when he's fighting Inaru in
Right.
Skypiea,
right.
like the electricity doesn't work on him because he's made of rubber.
Right.
How did that happen?
Like him using like
know,
gear 2 and gear
yeah.
3, like the whole concept of like pumping his blood like to increase his heat, and like the steam making his rubber become like more malleable. Like
Yep.
All of his
Going-
gears are very
it's
rubber
like
focused.
based.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
blows
like,
his thumb up like a balloon.
and like, yeah, like I
Well, David, now he's the sun god Nicola. You know that
No,
it's
that's
this. He ate the sun god fruit. No,
That's just so
I'm not.
fucking
That's
stupid.
one of the theories. That's
Like,
one of the theories.
if that-
Obviously,
if something like that like ends up happening where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, just kidding, something that you've thought for 20 years is actually a lie. It's actually the god fruit, and
right.
he's actually God. Like,
Right.
That's
I don't think that. I think that right now, Oda has set up a lot of foreshadowing that if it does happen, it won't feel completely ass pulled because there's just
Yeah.
so many hints that it's there. And if it doesn't happen, if it does just end up being a rubber fruit, like we've always known, I think
Right.
some people are going to feel bait and switched because they feel like they're like all of the clues have to be that fruit is not what it's
that
being
points to Luffy.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are so dead set. So if he does switch it up in the fruit that's being referenced and all is like referring to someone else,
I want it to be someone else's.
there's a
fruit.
lot of devil fruits on the island.
I hope so. There's a ton.
There's
on
a
mine.
lot. So there's a lot that could be being referenced, but then why are they going? If he can explain it all and make it work in the story, it could be one of the greatest like story beats of all. You know what I mean? If it ends up
Yeah.
being the gum fruit and it was never in question, but everything else works, all of a sudden all the clues fall into place. It'll be such a wonderful moment. But
Oh,
also,
yeah.
if
Yeah.
it does fall into place and it's not and we learn that it is the god fruit or whatever, it also if he does that, I hope that it also slots in and works. Like I don't want it to.
Yeah.
Oda has to be, and he's never let me down for fucking 15 years.
I mean, he made me cry over a ship. Like
For 15 exactly. For 15
Going
years,
Mary.
this man that I've been following this manga series, this man never lets me down, and I don't think he's gonna drop the ball on this. But the amount of fan conversation right now, the only thing I've ever seen compared in recent memory was the heated battle about Yamato's gender. That was like the oh my god, the fans could not stop talking about is Yamato a man or a woman. Yamato's just Odin. It's just Yamato's Odin. That's why they use he/him. But Yamato's actually a woman. Do you see this? Do you see her? Do you see her boobs? That's
oh my god. That's why we don't rely on anime Twitter for anything serious.
I know.
Yeah.
So the whole this theory thing about Luffy's fruit, the chosen one trope, is Oda's writing falling off? Is he doing a bad job? Is he setting us up for failure? I feel like right now Oda's gonna have to really do some crazy Oda shit, which I expect him to do. I somehow 10 chapters from now, I think both the people that think it is just the gum fruit, that they're like, no, it can't change, and the people that think it's the god fruit for sure. There's too many clues. I feel like somehow Oda's gonna make them both happy. Like in 10 chapters, we're gonna be like, Oda done did it again, boys. Oda done did it again.
Also, isn't Zoro currently fighting death itself?
Yeah, but Frankie is over by him now. In the last chapter, I think Frankie ran over to him, and I think Zoro's passed out. Maybe.
Yeah, he like picked up his body.
Yeah, so I think that Most likely
Zoro's
that might be
really
going on.
close to
Sees
death.
death.
Might be going on in his head.
Hey, if he
But-
beats death, though, I mean,
So he might be dying, and that's sort of him manifesting. Sort of, I don't know. We
Yep.
still don't know exactly what's going on with all that.
yeah, Luffy got whacked by the Thunder Bagua, so
Yeah, because the CP0
Yeah.
guy fucking grabbed his ass.
Grabbed him.
He was like Iron Body,
Yo,
which I don't know what that's supposed to do, but
it weighs him down.
It just,
weighs
I
him
think it
down.
just held him back. I think he essentially
it just freezes him.
no. I think he
Right?
like imagine you're
grabbed
going
it.
for a punch, David, and someone grabs the back of
Oh,
your
he
arm.
grabbed him.
That's what I'm saying. I think
I think
he-
he placed his hands on
No,
him, like
I
just
think
like
he-
did this.
I think he used the weight of his body to hold
Okay,
Luffy
to
back.
hold-
Yes.
Yeah, so that Luffy would get hit by the Bagua.
So that
bro.
Kaido would whack the shit out of Luffy. But if you notice Kaido's reaction in that moment,
yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
he's
was
not
like,
happy that that's how that happened. He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, wait a second. I
he
didn't."
said, "No, you spoiled my fun. This is the most fun I've been having in years."
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys personally want to happen about this theory. Like,
I don't know.
wanted to- you go,
What do
Kenny.
you think?
Yeah, Kenny, talk us through
I
it.
want it to all have just been red herrings. It's some other fucking fruit. They're talking about the time fruit or something. You know, maybe that fruit's showing back up. Maybe it's Kinemon's. Maybe it's Kaido's himself, the dragon. You know, or technically it could be the boy. What's the little boy's name?
I can't remember his
Odin's
name.
son?
Yeah,
Momonosuke.
Momo.
It could be. What if Momo's fruit is evolving? He never had the dragon. I don't know. You know.
I think it's Momo's too. I think
There's a
it's
ton of-
all just try to. It's like all distractions.
Yeah,
to
there's a
make you think it's
ton of
Luffy.
fruits on the island that could be something. That's just it.
Right.
Like, there's just so many fruits. I mean, for all we know, it could end up just being Robin's fruit again. You know, like it is just Robin again. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's not Law or the
Kid.
punk guy kid.
Yeah, because
it's not Kid.
they're out.
'Cause they already awakened their fruits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
I think that, yeah. Oh, man. So that's what you want, Kenny, is you want it to be just like a string of red herrings that all resolve in different manners that don't lead to Luffy's
Yeah.
fruit being outed as like a different
And it's
fruit.
just it's just one of the Wano. Because think of all the Wano,
plot threads or
like all the Wano fruits, just the fruits that the people in Wano have. You know.
I mean,
there's
on
two
Onigashima
mythical
alone.
beasts.
30, like at least 30 fruits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on Onigashima alone, we've got King, Queen, Apu, Drake, Robin, obviously all the Straw Hats, so Robin
Hats.
and Luffy and
The samurai.
Brook and Chopper. And then, yeah, you've got, from the Samurai, you've got Kinemon, you've got Raizo, you've got,
What's the guy who
Hey, what's
betrayed
Raizo's
him?
fruit?
The painting guy.
What is
No,
Raizo?
you're thinking-
Raizo's just a ninja, right?
Wait. No, Raizo
No,
does have a
doesn't-
fruit, doesn't he?
Doesn't he freeze you or something?
I don't remember.
Stop fruit or some bullshit like
Raizo,
that.
I think Raizo has a fruit, but he calls it a ninjutsu. I think he like does fruit powers, but he always refers to his powers as like a
he
ninjutsu.
ate the Maki Maki no Mi that allows him to create and manipulate scrolls.
There you go. I'm about to say, I
Oh.
think that's his devil fruit, but he like I think people were confused because he like calls it his
Yeah,
ninjutsu.
Calls it ninjutsu.
Yes,
yeah.
but it's his fruit power. Just like Shinobu can age things. That's her fruit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But she also refers to it as like a ninjutsu.
ninja art.
Ninja art. Who else? I mean, there's just so many fruits. I'm like, obviously Law and Kid are on the island, so they have their fruits.
Right.
Orochi's on the island.
Phoenix
he's got-
Boy.
Yep.
Marco's there.
Marco.
Yeah.
Fucking Yamato has a fruit.
It can literally be any of them.
Yeah, there's so. I mean, obviously Kaido and Big Mom both have fruits. Prospero is there. He has a fruit.
Well, I know the drawing guy, the one that betrayed him. I don't know
Oh
his
shit!
name.
Yeah.
That one's.
Like,
I feel like that's also a high contender for. It's a weird fruit. Where
It's a
like,
weird fucking fruit. That fruit's
Yeah.
weird as fuck, dog.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
a weird
thing,
fruit.
people
so-
are pretty sure that thing in the basement where Yamato ran by is his creation. He did that.
Oh yeah.
But nobody, obviously, we haven't like fully confirmed. But that's probably his something to do
That
with him
makes sense. Yeah.
and his fruit, which is also weird. I mean, he brought Odin back to life with his fruit. That was weird. Like that whole thing was
Right.
strange.
Well, he
and
didn't bring Odin back to life. It was just like a.
he was able to create an exact replicate of Odin,
Correct.
utilizing his knowledge of Odin and the way Odin acted and moved, which was insane. That it even convinced the other scabbards that it was a reincarnation of Odin. That's like a really weird fruit power. Beside the point, I agree. Great, Kenny, David.
Yes.
What do you think? I mean, where do you want this theory to go? Where do you want to see?
I know I don't want it to go towards the route of it's Luffy's fruit and it's not the gum fruit, it's something else. Like I don't want that to be where it goes. I do want it to be someone that we haven't like seen in a while on Wano, like someone just like completely unexpected, like the girl that has the mochi fruit, or is that a devil fruit?
Oh,
mochi.
There
is a mochi fruit, but it's katakuri's. You're thinking of
not katakuri's. The one
the little girl who she pulls stuff off her cheek, and animals listen to her when she feeds them.
Yeah, is that a devil fruit or is that something else?
That's a devil fruit.
That is devil fruit. Okay,
that's a devil fruit.
Yeah,
Otama. Like, that's her name.
Otama. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I mean, I wanted to just be like someone that's like not like I don't even want it to be a straw hat. I want it to be like someone completely
that'd be interesting,
random.
That'd be interesting. Why? I guess my question then, why do you guys think the CP0 wants to kill Luffy so bad?
Don't know.
What's the
why all of a
sudden in Onigashima have they decided this is it? This is the last moment. We have to kill Luffy now. Because I feel like they've never felt so adamant about like literally killing him. But now all of a sudden they're like, nope. Gorosei said, pull the trigger, kill him.
Maybe something that happened at Reverie?
Yeah, like what is the trigger that fell in? Because they aren't even ordering them to try to kill Kaido or Big Mom, which that implies is Luffy a bigger threat? Is something else at play here? And I think you're right, Kenny. Remember, I'm like woke up at Reverie.
Yep.
There's like, could it have something to do with Sabo, who's also at the Reverie right now? Since they're like brothers. Could it have to do with Dragon? Because they're revolutionaries. And they know that that Luffy's Dragon's son. I don't know, man. There's so many. Oda has so many opportunities for it to not be. People obviously are immediately assuming they're saying kill Luffy because when his devil fruit awakens, it's going to reveal its true nature, which is its true name. And then that's where the theory is leading, is that the assignment is. But the more that I thought about it, I'm like, there's so many other things that could easily have led to the Gorosei saying, like, kill Luffy, dog. But it's still tough to do. What, David?
Have they been trying to hunt down the Straw Hats since New World? Like
no,
the Navy?
No, not really. The only other time we saw them was on Dressrosa, where Fujitora showed up.
Yep.
And he was mainly there for Dofi, if I remember correctly, because Dofi had gone rogue from the Shichibukai, and he did try to hunt the Straw Hats a little bit there, and there was some conversation about it. But aside from that, Smoker came to Punk Hazard. And he also kind of got tangled up in that circumstance, but he kind of worked with the Straw Hats in that arc, which was kind of weird.
Like, just let them go.
Yeah. So there's also kind of that.
Think of all the post time skip like Navy interactions.
They have certainly not made a concentrated effort to get the Straw Hats. There have been larger, more important things happening in the One Piece world that they've been focused on. So it seems very weird to me that there was a sudden decision made, hey, kill Luffy now. So I think it could be connected to Joy Boy and I think there could be some sort of theory there that someone needs to go in and craft more in detail. That's where my like immediate brain thought goes, is that it could, because I do think Kenny brought this theory up a long time ago. I'm not saying this is what it is, but that Joy Boy or Luffy might be Joy Boy from the future or something like that. A lot of people think that Joy Boy might be, or that Luffy might be a reincarnation, sort of a second coming of who Joy Boy was. And obviously Roger knows something about that as well. So maybe that has to do with why the Straw Hat being passed down. One theory that I have is that Roger was friends with Joy Boy, and that there is some sort of, I don't know if that's ever been directly confirmed, but I think that they knew each other, and Joy Boy gave the Straw Hat to Roger. That's my guess, because Roger passed it to Shanks to Luffy. I think that there's some implication there. I think that there could be some sort of theory making that the CP0 are making that decision because they believe that Joy Boy is going to usher in the next pirate age, and that's Luffy right now. And that if the pirate age begins, or whatever it is, this next age of intense piracy, the Navy will have a difficult time managing that. So they're like, let's take care of the problem now. Just like they killed Gold Roger on the stand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to make a similar statement by killing Luffy. So that's my only thought process, especially because if you remember going into Wano, Luffy was elevated to Yonko level, but as the fifth, essentially the fifth of the Yonko. So he's definitely at that level of threat as like Shanks, Blackbeard. But, why not eliminate Blackbeard? Why not eliminate Big Mom? Why not eliminate... Like, there's still not a lot... There's got to be some other purpose, because the other four could have also been viable options to do that with. I don't know. I don't like to get too deep into One Piece theory crafting, because...
Yeah, I mean, there's still so many questions left unanswered.
Oda's just... Yeah.
Getting started.
I had to look up Joy Boy because I couldn't remember. But so he's tied to the Void Century.
The Century of Time that we don't know any... Yeah. The archaeological history that the
all
story
the
of the...
kind of
the poneglyphs teach.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. Again, maybe Roger didn't know Joy Boy directly because the Void Century is implied to be maybe way too... But maybe Joy Boy could... And Kenny keeps saying this, and now that we know there's time travel fruits, maybe he could travel through time. And that's... I don't know yet, but I really
hope they don't go the time travel route.
There's
time travel.
Time travel is already in. It's already there. It's already there. We have already traveled through time in the One Piece storyline. Time travel already happened.
Momo's mom was like randomly looking for like a time period, right? She was just like warping through time.
She chose, yeah. Oh, yeah. Momo's mom was literally like, she could only go forward, not backwards. So her mom had like jumped like twice or something, or whatever she said when she met Odin.
Yeah.
So she had, which is like, whoa, what? It's like so much going on there. Like, time travel's thing.
That's like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
You can just send people forward in time?
But if there's that fruit, one thing we already know about One Piece is that pretty much every fruit that does one thing has like an opposite one.
Yeah.
So if there's a forward jumping fruit,
there's a back.
It's probably a backwards jumping one out there. And hell, there might be one that does even more than that. We also have to remember that Law's fruit. Do you guys remember that Law's fruit grants immortality? Do you guys remember that little thing that they haven't brought up?
But
yet?
It's like give you his own heart.
Yeah. It's like kind of a weird. I've like sometimes that's in the back of my head. Like, is Oda gonna do something with that, or is that just like something weird? I don't know.
Yeah.
I do trust Oda though. I don't want. I feel like such a like scrub by saying this, but I don't want Luffy. I want Luffy's fruit to be the rubber fruit too, guys. But like I don't want. I don't want to be like a weird like fan about, if it ends up being the god fruit, I'll be excited for it, and I'll be excited for whatever Oda tells.
It's been the Goma Goma no Mi for 1,000 chapters.
I have a reverence for the fact that he's just a rubber boy, man. He's just a little guy, and he's a smart ass rubber fighter, and he's used everything in his abilities to make that fruit become more and more powerful, and I love that about him. I love that about Luffy because he's creative and he's confident and he's utilized this fruit in such crazy ways over the last, the 25 years of One Piece storytelling. And we've watched him grow from just throwing his arm like a pistol to, developing these forms that utilize high-level hockey to create snake arms. You know what I mean? Like,
not snake arms. It's arms that are like the game Snake.
Specifically like the game Snake.
The classic video game Snake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, classic. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't want to be weird about it, but I also I'm like, man, I think Oda's creating layers of mystery that he's gonna have he's gonna reveal all the answers at the end of this arc, and they're all gonna be different answers. I don't think that why Who's Who was talking about that, and why the Gorosei are sending someone, and why Zunisha is there, and what's going on. I don't think all of those are going to have the same answer, which I think is what the Luffy theory is theorizing, that all of those are going to the same central answer. I think Oda's going to reveal many answers to a lot of these questions. They're each going to have different conclusions, and I think that could be kind of, Kenny, kind of what you're saying. I think that there's just a lot that he's going to not do one bait and switch, but he's going to do a lot of slow burn conclusions that give us some finality to each of the small mysteries that he brought up throughout the arc. And we'll get some finality to some of that. I think Wano is really building to be, kind of feels like it's the pre-finale arc, I think, guys. I think Oda's only got really one big story arc left in him. Not Oda. I think that One Piece's world, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one.
There's going to be a lot of questions.
But I think that once Wano concludes, we will be moving into...
Well, I mean, yeah.
I'm calling it the final arc, it'll be like the final saga of One Piece.
Yeah.
That might have many smaller arcs within it. That's how I want to say it. But I think we'll be moving into the finale saga of One Piece in the next, and I think that it's going to happen in the next
4 or 5 more years.
Or not in the next year, but I think we're going to start that in the next year.
Yeah.
Like, I think Wano's concluded.
Sure.
I don't think Wano's making it to 2023. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, Wano's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Oh baby. Oh,
I think Reverie is going to end this year.
Oh yeah.
I think we'll get the last part of Reverie finalized.
I wouldn't be surprised if Oda does some crazy shit where like the conclusion to Wano and the like flashbacks to Reverie start to coincide and we get it all sort of in one big conclusive. Because remember he did Reverie for like 10 chapters and then he just jumped right into Wano and we pretty much not gone back. But I think he's gonna just let it all whoosh, like whip together. And then, like I said, I think we're gonna jump into what could potentially be like the final saga of One Piece, which I think it'll last a couple years, but I think we're gonna start getting into it. So crazy.
I mean, it is One Piece.
It's One Piece, boys. Holy shit. Okay, well,
that's it.
That's a good fucking episode.
Thank you guys again for tuning in. I farted so bad that it smells so bad in this chair, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a little walk.
This is on here, guys. Put a like,
podcast,
put a thumbs up, and put a comment about Kenny's fart. Kenny just laid the stankiest fart that anyone can leave. Make sure.
I can't go back over.
Make sure support the Stanky Fart podcast. No. The Vampire Night Cheeks podcast.
What are we doing? Oh my god!
It actually smells so bad.
Kenny farted so bad that he himself is having an issue with the smell.
You're hotboxing.
Why would I open my door?
Don't let the smell out. Don't let the smell. Okay, guys.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Uncensored Anime Podcast. You guys know the drill. Make sure that you like, make sure that you comment, make sure that you subscribe if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out here on our channel. Additionally, we do publish these episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else that your favorite podcasts are. So if you could, jump over to your favorite platform, leave us a 5-star review, leave us a follow, do all that good stuff. And the reason why is because it helps us to grow within the algorithms on those websites. It means that more people will be able to enjoy the content that you're enjoying. So it would be a great help to us, and it would be a great help to hopefully many others to get our content out to them, and they would be able to enjoy it just as much as you are, dear listener. So make sure that you guys do that. And on that note, this has been another episode of the Uncensored Anime Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're saying peace.
Bro, you wanted me to sit in my fart.